Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Brittany, and on this channel we talk all about plants. And today we are going to be doing a little bit of repotting. A couple days ago, I was going through my plants, doing my weekly check-ins, and I realized that some of my bigger plants are starting to get a little bit over-rooted. So I got some new clear pots. We're going to talk a little bit about potting up, and get some of these repots done. So if you are into plants and into caring for plants, stick around and let's repot some plants. So as I have grown in my house plant journey, I've really come to like clear pots because I like that you can see what's going on with the roots. So I did order these new pots. They're really nice because if they are starting to get a little bit root bound, you can tell, and you can also see all the way through the pot as you are watering it, making sure that there aren't any spots that are missing the water that you might need to repot because of a soil issue. So I do really recommend these. I just got them off of Amazon, and it came with 6 pots, the biggest one being this 8-inch, and we are going to be using this today as well as the one right below it. So let's get to it. Let me show you what plants we're thinking of repotting today. Okay, so we also have some other stuff to do. I am going to my family's house for my grandma's birthday today. Penny, what do you got? What do you got? Spit it out. Chopstick. So we are going to my family's house today and going to be doing my grandma's birthday. So I'll show you a couple plants that my mom has over there that I'm gonna get some cuttings of. And then also it is November 3rd now, and I still have all of my Halloween decor up. So we're gonna get that taken down, get this house kind of cleaned up for this kind of middle section between my heavy decorating seasons, and then kind of move some plants around to go with the vibe of this new season.
Okay, so the one thing that I am so jealous of is my mom's huge bay window. She just keeps a couple plants in here, but I am obsessed with it. You're gonna see that one again.
Okay, we are back, ready to do some repotting. Let's get these boys out of the way. So we did end up going to my mom's for my grandma's birthday, and we had a really nice time. It was her 83rd birthday, so it was a lot of fun. But while I was there, unsolicited, my mom said, "Hey, will you do me a favor and repot this plant for me?" Hands me this Dracaena, and it was in a cover pot. I guess it still is in a cover pot. And she's like, "I think it needs a repot. Would you mind just doing it for me?" Of course. So I pull it out. Look at those roots. I was like, yeah, I think it's time. I think it needs a repot. So I have to give her credit. This is so beautiful. And she got it from Walmart. That is wild. So we are going to add this to our list of repots and get this guy all potted up. And then I've got a couple of my 2 big plants that we're gonna do as well. And then we are going to downsize a couple of plants because I have some that are out of control and need propagated. My husband is like, that Micans needs a haircut. So we are gonna do that as well. Let's get to repotting this guy real quick. So as I said, I really like the clear pots for the fact that you can see the roots, and hopefully you can see them before they get out of control like this one's is. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give her one of these new pots. It also has the drainage on the bottom, which is really important for thorough watering and so that the plant is not sitting in moist soil for too long, because that will lead to rotting of roots. So we're gonna go ahead and get this out of here, take a look at the roots, make sure that when you do get it out of the old soil, you're getting as much off as possible without harming the roots. And then you are also cutting off any roots that look like they're rotting, look like they're dead, just don't look happy and healthy and thick. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna put you in fast mode, do that really quick, and then talk about what I saw. All right, let's try and get this out without harming these roots too badly. I'm gonna give it like a squeeze. She did recently water it, which ideally you would have some water so that your plant doesn't get distressed, but it's gonna come out. I'm going slow. You're gonna get some breakage. It's gonna come out easier though if just a little bit. Okay, let me try again. It's gonna come out easier if it's drier. Oh, look at that. That's great. That looks great. So some thick, chunky roots. They look really healthy. They are kind of oranging, so we'll talk about that as well, why that happens. But in general, this is a really healthy rooted plant. Let's get to the repot. Okay, here we go. So that looks so much better, and those roots are going to have so much more room to grow. They like to grow down, these specific ones, so this is a little bit deeper pot to allow for that. A couple things that I noticed is this had a really dense root system, meaning a ton of small roots up in the middle, which is amazing. It means it's really healthy. But if you're having a hard time breaking those up a little bit without damaging them, you can use a skewer and kind of just poke through the roots, wiggle it around a little bit so that it loosens that soil up. You don't want to damage too many roots, but like I said before, if some of them get a little bit of damage, it's not a big deal. The other thing I did want to touch on is when you are putting the soil in, you want the top of the plant to be at the top of the pot for watering purposes, but you also want to pack in that soil a little bit so that it does not have any air pockets where the water will get stuck and then just drain down from that point. You want it to be able to fully saturate. But with that, you want to leave the opportunity for airflow and water flow, and packing it too densely is going to take away from that. So just think of that happy medium. Give it a little pressure, but don't like squish it down in, squish it in. So I'm excited to give this to her. I love it. I think I'm in the Christmas spirit. It looks like a Christmas tree. She needs like a cute Christmas pot for the season, and plop it in there. It'll look like a little tropical Christmas tree. All right, I'm excited to see what my mom has to say about that plant. It's just so much more proportionate in that larger pot. When you are looking for pots, make sure that you're not upsizing too much, because it's tempting. I know I did this when I started working with plants. Give it a huge pot so it has tons of room to grow, and then it's going to grow bigger faster. I did that with my snake plant, which is like the worst to do that with, because the more soil there is, the more it's going to retain moisture. And roots, while they need moisture, they don't love it. They don't like to soak in a bathtub. So they need that soil to dry out and for their roots to dry out. And so kind of keep that in mind when you're choosing pots. You don't want to go so big, 1 to 2 inches bigger than the root ball. So when I pulled that out, 1 to 2 inches bigger than that. The next one that we are looking at is this guy, our favorite, the Thai constellation. And I was not planning on repotting this, but I have noticed some issues. It's drying out really, really quickly. Like every couple days, it feels like it needs water. And then I do have roots. Let's see if you can see this. Catch this. I have roots that are coming out the top, which I know aerial roots, but that's not aerial. And then also the bottom is getting these really chunky roots that are coming out of these side drainage holes. And I feel like if I leave it and let it do it, then I'm gonna have issues getting those roots out. So we're just gonna go ahead and repot. I said recently that I was not going to, but I changed my mind. So I do enjoy a really chunky soil when it comes to the Monstera because I'm scared. I'm scared of their roots rotting. So this soil that it's in is my mix, and I know it's really good. There's just not enough of it in relation to the roots. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to put it in with this soil and then kind of mix it around and put it all back into this pot. So here's what we're looking like. It's quite a bit bigger. So let's see what this root ball looks like. I might end up going a size down, but at the rate this thing is growing, how are your Tycons doing? Let me know. Are they thriving? I have gotten a new leaf. I want to hear. Did you get through the Tycon curse with the rotting, or is it like giving you leaves like crazy? Like I know a lot of people's are. I want to hear about it. Okay, here we go. I'm scared. I'm gonna go gentle. It's like so dense, I can't even squeeze it. That's how I know that I'm having a root issue. Not an issue, it's a good thing, but I'm scared. Let go of my plant. I'm telling you, it's because it's growing out of these side holes. Oh. I'm just gonna gently, I'm gonna get it out. I promise. I'll show you when it's out. You don't have to watch the struggle. Okay, those are some chonky roots. They look good. They look good. I don't have any complaints, nothing to really share. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill the bottom of this pot, get this potted up. Mine was starting to get a little bit off center, and I was also worried about balance because it was so off to the side and it was in this small pot. I was worried about it like falling over. So I think this is going to help that because it's going to have a little bit more weight to it. The thing about that is you have to make sure that you're not burying the aerial roots. So that bottom part of the Monstera, this part right here, needs to be right at the top of the soil because we don't want that part to rot especially. That kind of is the base for the whole thing. And if you get an issue there, there's not really much you can do to recover it. So it's got to sit pretty high. So I'm grateful for this in terms of the weight that it's going to provide, this larger pot. Okay, there we go. I did not fill the pot all the way just because it is such an upsize. Just because it is that size doesn't mean you have to use the whole thing. So it is like, what, 5/8 of the way full. And then I did press that in. I re-put the stake in there. I just love that leaf. So pretty. I'm grateful that that is done. If you could see my table right now though, I'm not grateful that it's so late. I need to get a couple things done after this, but like the cleaning of this process is going to be a nightmare. My suggestion is to make sure you get one of these repotting mats. Mine has little pink tulips on it and I love it because then you just pick it up. I just walk it over to the trash can if it's got old soil on it, or just right back into my soil bucket, dump it out, wipe it down, good to go. It's still feeling a little bit daunting though in this moment. Okay, the last couple of things that I want to do tonight, because I know we're getting a little long here, so we'll pick this up tomorrow with the repots, this is kind of a priority. This Micans, it's in this little pot, and the roots from the bottom look okay, but it's just getting like so this so long. It's crazy, and it's kind of starting to look a little scraggly. I love the length, but I want a fuller, bigger pot length. So I'm gonna do a little bit of propagating. Give this guy a haircut. When you propagate, it encourages the nodes that are higher on the stem, on the stem to grow new leaves. So that's what I want, the top to get a little bit fuller. And then once we are rooted, those propagations, then we can repot it into a bigger pot, add all those props in there and have a really full top. So that is the goal. So I have my scissors that have been sterilized, and I am just going to like trim it just because it is so stinking long. I'm gonna get so many cuttings. I'm gonna go this long bunch here on this side, and I'm just gonna cut it where the longest bunch is on this other side. If I could talk, find a node, cut a little ways above it, especially really long spaces between nodes. That is the spot to cut. Where did it end up? Give me my cutting. It gets tangly, you know what I'm saying? It's tangled. Here we go. I don't know where it ended up. We will find it in a minute. There's one. There's one. There's one. Okay, so that is what that looks like now. I'm not mad about it. So then I'm gonna take all of these, you guys, oh, I was like, I made 4 cuts and there are only 3. There are 4, one fell on the ground. I'm gonna take these and cut about every 2 leaves between. 2 leaves between. So I'm gonna leave 2 leaves, cut, leave 2 leaves, cut, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just plop these in some water. Micans, I've discovered, roots really, really well in water. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. So like this, take that, plop it into some water, and in a couple of months, I'm gonna have a ton of new little baby plants that we can add into this pot, like this. If there is a leaf coming out of the node, you can just trim that off or gently remove it and then kind of go from there. I'm gonna remove this leaf too. And then you're gonna have a whole like bouquet of micans by the time you're done. I'll show you what it looks like once I put it into the water, and then we are going to, you know what, pause. Thanks for just sitting around and chatting with me. I'm kind of a hot mess tonight. I did want to show you this package that I got in though. I've been really considering putting a lot of my plants into a more semi-hydro situation, meaning they're not in soil. They're in a substrate that you put water into and it's living in that. So I did order a pond mix, and the packaging looks really nice. It's got the little thank you card, and I'm really excited to try it, but I was looking for tips and tricks. I have not done pond. If you have, and you've had some success, I would love to hear about it before I do that. So leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this and what experiences you have had before I get into making the decision, like what's the best plant to start in semi-hydro. I use a lot of hydro. I have plants that just live in water. If you want to do a video on that, let me know down below as well. And then I do a lot of soil. This is new to me, so we're learning together on this channel. Teach me all the things. Here we go. There's our Micans bouquet. It is going to go into this, if I don't fall down, this little propagation cup with the rest of these guys. Put a little water in there. And it's so pretty. I love it. All right, I am gonna go ahead and get this all cleaned up, and then I will show you what we've been doing with redecorating the house for this November season, and then we will be out of here. I just wanted to pause really quick and say thank you so much for watching and for being my friend and for going on this plant journey with me. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. And I hope that you guys are having a fantastic November. And I'll see you guys next time.